Eminem and things like that, he actually decided to make a stand and stop infusing like the negative images into our minds, because we have people around, now screaming, what's his name, Jeezy, and what's the big one, Gucci Man. Gucci Man ain't talking about nothing. But I really think we should actually think about us, like the current generation, as we matriculate up, as we become the business owners, as we become the magazine editors, as we become the record managers. We should work on the image of our community, because at the same time, we talk about the state of our culture, but we are the editors of some magazines, and we are the leaders of some of these record companies, and we're allowing this to happen. We're publishing this stuff back into our community, so if we have the mindset that we actually have power over this, when somebody sees this, they don't think about, okay, somebody's trying to, influence me. They just, okay, this is nice, I'm going to do what I see. With that being said, we're going to move on to our next question. Over the years, hip-hop has evolved. Oh, one more point. We don't see movies about protests anymore either. We don't realize that we actually have our own voice. So maybe, as we go on and move on to be movie producers, we can create movies to let people know that we do have a voice. And as we have a voice, because we don't think we have it right now, because all we have is, just some fluff. But we do have a voice, and, when I make it to Hollywood, I'll try to, come back.
We got to respond to what you just said, right? We just can't let that go.
Okay, well, I'm going to move on to the next question.
But we're not.
It's all in the same area.
Nah, but we got to say this, because I know some of the panelists, I feel, I'm looking at some of the panelists. When you mentioned Jeezy and Gucci Mane and individuals like that, I'm not saying that, I hear what you're saying. And I definitely hear that, there are individuals in these respective industries who have power to shape perception and images. But I think, what we need to understand is that we are not a monolith as a people. Black people are not monolithic. We have different tastes, we have different, ways of looking at things. We have, many of us, have different religions, different belief systems. Some of us are Democrats, some of us are Republicans. And I'm not saying that what you're saying in terms of, as it pertains to images, that some people deem negative don't hold weight. But at the same time, we have to be mindful, and also, when you talk about Jeezy or Gucci Mane, though I stylistically may not like Jeezy, I'm not saying I do like Jeezy, but if I did, what I'm trying to say is that I embrace Jeezy. I embrace Jeezy because of not so much the content, but I embrace Jeezy because of his reach. And as a result of that reach, what he's able to do with that reach. Because we may see Jeezy, you may see him popping a bottle in a video or whatever, but at the same time, you don't see the proceeds of some of his record sales that he may donate to foundations or charities, or in addition to providing employment for people. So another thing that is not mentioned is that hip-hop, since its inception, has provided not hundreds, not even tens of thousands, close to millions of jobs for African Americans. So that's something that's not being discussed, and that's something that we need to really bring to the forefront.
Can I just make a comment real quick as far as Jeezy's concerned? Because look, I'm going to be real, like Jeezy's one of my favorite rappers out right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, real talk. And I'm going to tell you why. Because first of all, I think he's dope. But aside from that, he was one of the only artists last year that actually put out an album that really addressed what was going on in Black America, in America, period. Him and Nas, those two. But in particularly Jeezy, because he addressed the recession before it really kicked in. And the point I'm trying to get at, and I know that we're not trying to beat you up or anything, and I'm not even trying to ride for Jeezy or hard or anything, but I do say this. He spoke to an audience that was not necessarily politicized. He spoke to an audience that's not necessarily in this room right now. And when he did that song, My President is Black, he talked to a lot of people that were not going to vote, a lot of people that didn't care about voting, a lot of people that don't believe Obama makes any difference whatsoever. And your favorite rapper, name any one of them, on the chart that is quote unquote saying something, did absolutely nothing. And so I gotta respect Jeezy for that in terms of what he did do. Now, obviously, he says some things that we don't necessarily agree with, and he says and does some things that aren't in the best interest of the collective of Black America. But I think we have to remember and not get too high and mighty as far as hip hop is concerned. Hip hop is the voice of the rebellious youth from urban America, typically. And therefore, what comes out of it is not going to be pretty, it's not going to be cute, and it's not always going to be, quote unquote, what is in the best interest of people. But you have to allow these people to grow and mature. And if you look at an artist like Jeezy, he actually has grown and matured throughout the years. And maybe not at a rate that's, you know, pardon?
At the rate society we want.
Right.
Let's go to the next question. I also have something to say. A different perspective that a lot of us don't even look at. This week, or yesterday, I had the ability to meet Shaq from XO. He's 50 Cent's manager. And when we look at these people on TV, we almost make them iconic. And we kind of look at them and the perception that we have of them, and that's the perception that sticks in our mind. But if you talk to, I was talking to him, and I got a perspective of 50 Cent that I never even knew existed. He was like, within the next 5 years, you're going to see 50 doing inspirational speaking. The guy's one of the most deepest intellectual people you would ever know. But that said, if that's for 50 Cent, I would put money that 80% of these dudes aren't the thugs and the criminal type of image that they portray. But that said, they have some of the best capital in our Black community, right? So a lot of the programs and a lot of the problems challenging us are economically unfeasible for us to actually attack. Why don't we use this voice and why don't we reach out to them and try to use them as a tool, use their capital as a tool to affect lives? Because it's easy, it's real easy, everybody in this room to point a finger at 50 Cent, point a finger at Wayne, I don't know, whatever, all of them. Just point a finger. But there's three coming back at us. You know what I mean? There's three coming back at us. So what are we doing to help our community? What are we doing on Saturday mornings? What are we doing to even reach out to them to come up with ideas that so we can use their capital to help the masses? You know what I'm saying? Because like at the end of the day, like Representative Willis said, they're in the business of making money. So you know what they're going to do? They're going to keep making money, and that's going to consume their day-to-day basis. But we're sitting here, we call ourselves intellectuals. We're business majors, we're pharmacy majors, we're intellectuals, right? But why don't we reach out to them? Why don't we reach out to them with ideas? Why don't we use their capitalism and use it against the masses? You know what I'm saying? So we got to stop kind of pointing fingers at hip-hop and use hip-hop as the tool that it is.
All right.